What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. This is Car Addict. If you're watching this channel or this video, you probably already follow a little bit of the news on these Civics, but PRL put a Type R turbo into an SI and then did some dyno tuning on it. I might get the numbers wrong, but I'll have it close. It was about 325 horsepower, 305 foot-pounds on pump gas, 93 octane, and then 345 horsepower, 325 foot-pounds on E30. And they say that's where the stock fueling runs out. So you could put some race gas in and probably make a little more, because then you can go back to injecting the regular amount for gasoline and not the 30% or so more for the little bit of ethanol in there. Where's your binky at? So, anyways, though, I'll post this graph up here in a second, and you can see it's actually much friendlier to this poor little 1.5. Peak torque is actually even lower, and not only is it lower, I think peak torque was like 3,200 with the stock turbo, and I think it's like 4,300 or something like that with the bigger turbo. So it's less peak torque, comes in later, but instead of the horsepower falling off at like 52, it climbs to 6,800. I mean, you're climbing all the way. So that's pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure, though, I read that they don't plan on releasing a kit that uses that turbo. For one, the cost of that turbo from Honda, plus the modifications needed to fit it in this car, would probably make it not very financially efficient or fiscally responsible, whatever kind of word you want to put together there. But I guess bang for the buck works the easiest. So I think they were only doing it so they could see like what the fueling system can do, what kind of tuning they're going to want to do to keep a bigger turbo spool, because it did say they were messing with the VTC tables for spooling. Now, Pure's turbo is the one I'm interested in just because I know the most about it. It is a full upgrade, hot side and cold side, the whole deal. So, as far as I know, if you have a base Civic like I do, you do not have to source a SI turbo for the core, because they're going to change both sides, so it doesn't matter which one you send in, which is nice. I think I have swung away to get that turbo on my car, one of the first ones. So I got a little bit of bad news. Anybody who is waiting on the Honda videos. So one of the points that I thought would benefit me, I have a support ticket or whatever into Honda to ask if this is the way I think it is. A couple Honda users told me it's not how it is, but they have a CVT, so they don't really use the launch control, I guess, like I would anyways. But I was hoping that mile per hour threshold part of it would be based on rear wheel ABS sensor input, so that it could monitor true vehicle speed and not wheel speed if you were spinning, because I need it to keep me limited on power until I've gotten a little bit of forward momentum, built some traction up, then it can let me go. But if it's just going to let me spin the front wheel still, and then it's going to give me all the power because my wheels are now going 5 miles an hour even though the car's not, that's not going to help me. The other thing is, I've asked Honda about a few things Ktuner has, and if they had it planned or anything like that, and instead of a yes or no, I kind of got an answer about how it's not as important, which I will say, though, we'll see how long this one takes to get back to me about the launch control question. but Honda does have great quick support as far as answering all my questions. And I can understand they wouldn't want to tell me yes or no if they're going to develop something if they're not sure. So I can kind of see why they don't just give me a straight answer sometimes. But I am no longer going to buy the Honda because in order for me to get that turbo, here's what has to happen. Alright, so why am I not getting Honda? Well, it's pretty easy, I guess. I would like to, however, right now, I got a limited budget. Obviously, it's tax time. My refund came in, but every year me and the wife argue over what it goes to. I like to tell her I'm the one that wakes up at 3 a.m., sits in traffic for 3 hours a day. I'm the one the government's taking all the money from, so most of it should be mine. She does not agree with me there. So, anyways, I'll step away from that for a second. I don't know when this turbo is going to come out. And I could tell her that I'm spending the money on the Honda, and then when I'm done, I'll sell one and get the money back. And one, she doesn't really like that concept anyways, because all of the money doesn't always make it back. Plus, if the money's tied up, what happens? I don't know when the turbo's coming out. What if the turbo comes out, the money is tied up, and now I gotta say, oh, I'm gonna spend even more, and I haven't gotten that back yet. And I could just do it because I have the access to the money. I could just do it. And I'm definitely not the I guess not stereotypical, but I don't operate under the assumption or the motto, I mean, happy wife, happy life. I don't just agree to make life simple. I argue probably more than I should because it just makes my life harder sometimes. But it's a hard enough sell to get her to agree on the turbo without having another large chunk of money tied up in another part. So Honda is off the table for now. The turbo is on the table. I don't know when it's coming out, but when it does, I think I'm going to take the car back down to the dyno and hopefully have Vit tune it. Partly is just because if there's an introductory offer for the turbo, which I'm hoping there is, it usually comes with a restriction, or not a restriction, but with a requirement that you get it tuned and share your results. So that's one of the reasons I won't be tuning myself with it. Maybe if I did something else crazier down the line, I might try again. But really, here is another thing that I'm not trying to complain, but obviously YouTube changed the rules if you don't know. So before, I've had the channel for about a little over a year. For most of that, I wasn't really making anything. And then I was finally up to the point where, like, every once in a while, in 1 month, I could get a tank and a half of gas or so, which isn't really anything, but it helps out a little bit. So it obviously wasn't funding the car, but now I make nothing. So it's not going to fund the car really at all. So once the tax return goes bye-bye, the build will slow down. It's speeding up a little bit right now because I have money, so I bought a few things. One, I got AN fittings and line to do my fuel, flex fuel relocation. I got something in this box you'll see later. I got 5 things showing up from Amazon tomorrow for the car. So it should be, the Civic will progress quick and then slow down. And then after that, once this thing's got the big turbo, that might be it for performance in this car, just because I'm not going to add port injection, if that's what it comes down to. I would be fine adding like a water meth injection type setup for cooling intake temps, because really in my last car I only ran windshield washer fluid and a little bit of denatured alcohol, but I didn't do it for supplemental fueling. I just did it for the cooling effect. If I have to rely on it for my octane or for my fueling, I wouldn't do that either. So you can't, I'm not going to push this car that far. Rods might be a peace of mind later down the road, but if it's holding how much I can make now down low, it should continue to hold that because it'll be even less. Then, for the most part, working on a 97 Integra, it's just cheaper to play with than a 2017 Civic. So, I will probably transition more to doing stuff on the Integra, whereas if I do anything on this, it will be suspension, brakes, cosmetic kind of stuff, which I am doing some suspension, and then I'm going to do some brakes for a track day that I want to do. And I want to do those more, but again, having to spend $150 or so to get in, plus another $150 or so for a day's worth of insurance. I mean, I don't have that deep of pockets to just do that all the time. So, I'm not sure what's going to happen, how many events I can go to. Race Wars on March 30th, I was thinking about going to, but April 6th or something like that is the Baja 250. And I would much rather do the Baja 250 or watch it than be in Race Wars and try to do that. So I will do one or the other. You'll get to see one or the other, I guess, but I won't do both. I think this video is getting a little long for nothing, no real content, so I'm going to stop it there. Oh, there is one thing you might be interested in, though. So one of the things that have delayed the MAF tuning videos has been the effort it takes editing them. The microphone on my laptop sucks. So anytime I do a screen capture my laptop while I'm tuning and trying to show it, I have to turn on the pro mode or whatever in my GoPro, take an audio file, and then I got to sync them up all the different places in the video, and it's terrible. Enter the Logitech H390 or something USB headset. I tried them out, sounds pretty clear. Makes me sound different than the GoPro, but you can at least hear me and I don't have to sync up audio. So, I got the kids right now, so I'm not going to do it today, but tomorrow, as long as it's not terrible roads, because it is freezing right now and it's supposed to snow again, and we have already had snow twice. I will get the video shot tomorrow. I will get it edited and up in at least the next week, I promise. So look out for that. The overall idea should work for Honda also, as long as you can export the data log to CSV. I played with it last night and didn't right away see the option, but I didn't spend too much time in it. So you'd have to look through the data and make it take a little bit longer, but those are coming. I'll have probably like a bunch of install videos for the parts that I'm having come. A few are OEM Honda, a few are one's a cheap brand name, but it should do what it needs to do for now. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. And hopefully we can get some more action coming if it starts warming up. Get some races going, get to some events. We'll just see what happens. Alright, take it easy.